If you could describe your ideal weekend, what would it be? What would you do? What would happen? Well, in this vlog, I'm going to be sharing a really fun weekend that we had over Memorial Day, full of all of my favorite things. The weekend began by heading to Newberg, Oregon on our way to the beach to Chapters. It is a really awesome coffee shop and bookstore. And I had a lot of fun doing some journaling while I was here. I have a spring traveler's notebook setup video that I will link in the description box below. And that's what I brought with me. And I did a prayer journaling page. And then I also worked a little bit in my spring journal where I document the season. And so I will have all the resources I'm using here linked in the description box below. I'm using my pink and green floral notepad paper to pray over spring. And then I also used one of my Creative Faith gratitude and prayer journals in the first clip where I did some more prayer journaling because truly this spring has been kind of wild and I'm so thankful that the Lord hears my prayers and I can cry out to him in every time and every way. And so I picked up a lavender chai tea latte, which was delicious. And my husband got an iced mocha, and we just had such a sweet time sitting here talking. And I was, of course, working in my journals, and it was just so relaxing. There's something about going to a coffee shop and journaling that is just one of my very favorite things to do. So, this was a really sweet time, and I'm so thankful for just a few days away at the beach, and this was the perfect way to start it. And I have just all my supplies piled out. I love when I'm traveling to bring a zippered pouch that has stickers and printables in it. And then I have a pencil case that has pens and a tape runner and a glue stick. And then I have my spring traveler's notebook here. That's full of a devotion book and my prayer journal and gratitude journal and my spring journal. So when we were done at the coffee shop, we headed next door to Sprinkles of Joy Bakery. This is another favorite spot in Newberg, Oregon, and we picked up some treats to get to bring to the beach. We are meeting up with my parents this weekend, and they have so many delicious things. So we got cinnamon roll and some cookies and then we finally made it to the beach, and it was the most beautiful day. The sunshine was out, which is sometimes a little bit rare, actually, on the Oregon coast. But I love heading to the beach house. This is actually a lake the house is on. And then our first night, we went to dinner at another one of our favorite spots, which is Side Door Cafe. And there were all these beautiful flowers greeting us outside, and it just was just epitome epitome of spring. So this is Side Door Cafe, and it was a really delicious, yummy dinner with my family. And I got a lavender lemonade, and just the presentation of it was very beautiful. And then I got a fish dish with some risotto. And everyone else's meals were so delicious too. Juan got steak, and we all shared this ice cream cookie sandwich for dessert, and oh, it was so good. And then Juan found, we did a beach walk, and Juan found a little fish on the beach, and so we were showing my parents, and then he ended up releasing it back into the water. It was just a gorgeous night. We found lots of pretty agates and beach glass, and I just love being at the beach. It is so relaxing to walk and put my feet in the sand and hear the waves. And so this is just one of my favorite things to do is wander the beach. And there are some of the agates that we found. And yeah, it was just a very beautiful sunset, and the weather wasn't too crazy, which again is really nice at the beach. And so that was a really sweet evening. We didn't end there. On our way back to the beach house, we found so many deer and we were able to get so close to them. Like, this is out the car window. Normally, they're never this close, but we saw so many of them, and they were just so beautiful and majestic, and there were a lot of little babies too, and I mean, look at the little tail wagging. Isn't that so cute? So that was really neat to see so many deer, and we love seeing them when we're at the beach. Like, look at the little tail. Just very precious. And it just felt like we were kind of in a National Geographic scene. And this little guy, when our car pulled up, he kind of ran away. Then we just stopped. And he came so close to the car. I couldn't believe it. I thought I could have just reached my hand out the window and pet him or her. But very precious to see all the deer. And then the next day, we went to the outlet mall in Lincoln City, and my husband got new shoes, which he needed, and I also got new sandals, which I needed, and we just had a lot of fun being silly at the mall with my parents. And then this store is so adorable inside. I loved the window display with the letters, and it had just so much cute decor inside, and I just loved it. Like these little banners that you can hang up in their mug collection. It took all the self-control in me to not buy one. And then we ended the night visiting with my dad's family. Some of his relatives from Norway were in town. And so we got to meet them for the first time. And it was just such a sweet time of just laughter and fun with family. And then I think, was this the last day? I think this was our last morning. We had a really yummy breakfast. We got to have the cinnamon rolls from the coffee shop that we brought, and then I just sat outside for quite a long time in the sun. And again, this is on the lake, so we got to just be in the sunshine and see the water. So I started off doing my Bible study time, and I'm still reading through the Bible chronologically this year. I'm using the NLT Chronological Study Bible. I really like this. It's my second year using this particular Bible, and my third year reading through the whole Bible this year, through the year. And it has been a little bit trickier for me to keep up with it just because I've had a lot on my plate lately. But I've been trying to, on the weekends, catch up, and I use these Tombow markers as my highlighters, which do bleed through a little bit, but it's not too bad. And I will have a video linked below where I talk more about this Bible and show you more inside, and I'll link this Bible down below on Amazon too if you want to pick it up. And then I also brought my Creative Faith Spring magazine, and I'll have this link down below on Amazon if you haven't picked it up. Even though spring's sort of coming to a close, you can still grab it, and it's still full of inspiration and articles and ideas that you can use not just in spring, but all year long. And so I was enjoying flipping through this and rereading the different articles I wrote. And it's just really fun to have a physical magazine that is just full of photos and ideas and inspiration. And, there's just something about sitting down with a magazine that just is kind of nostalgic and just a really fun thing to do. And so one of the articles talks a lot about butterflies and a season of change, which I feel like is kind of really relevant to me right now, and just a lot that's happening in our lives. And so I was using that article to just kind of remind myself about truths in God's word, that even though seasons change, God always remains the same. And the cool thing about the Creative Faith magazines is that there's actually prompts and journaling pages sprinkled throughout as well too. And so at the end of the article about butterflies, there is a spot to journal. And so that was really sweet to just take some time and journal and reflect on a season of change. And so the pages are not like slick or shiny. So you can write on them with a regular pen. And so it was just a really sweet time of journaling and reflecting about change. And so I'd love to know in the comments below, what is a season of change that you're either experiencing now or one that you've experienced in the past? Because I think it's really important to think back on, okay, I made it through this season of change, whether it was last year or 5 years ago. And even though that was really hard, it's a good reminder that you can make it through whatever season of change you're in right now or what's to come, because we know that life changes all the time and it can be really hard because I love it when things stay the same, but that's just not the reality of life. And God uses seasons of change to help us have more dependence on Him and trust Him that He is, ultimately the one that's in charge and control, and that we can trust Him and that He is working all things together for His glory and for our good. And so I hope that kind of encourages you, and just the importance too of praying through seasons of change, because prayer is this beautiful lifeline that we can use to cry out to the Lord. And so I just had the sweetest time journaling by the water and just thinking about the season that my husband and I are in, and just reflecting on what God is doing and what is to come. So after I finished doing my journaling about season of change, then I moved on to another page in something that I brought. I pulled out my spring traveler's notebook again, and I have a devotion book here in the front called Pausing for His Peace. And so I wanted to do some journaling in there, but before I kind of did that Bible study time, I wanted to start by writing a prayer. So I opened my gratitude and prayer journal again and wrote a prayer giving the Bible study time to the Lord. And so on the left side, you can see the page that I did at the coffee shop a couple days earlier, and then I decorated it in sort of a similar fashion with similar stickers so that the two spreads would kind of coordinate together. And I love taking time to pray before I dive into doing a page in a devotion book. And so I was just asking God, inviting Him in to this Bible study time with me, that He would teach me and lead me and, just draw me closer to Him through His Word. And I'm using one of my Creative Faith pens, which I absolutely love these pens. If you haven't picked one up, I'll have those linked in the description box below. They are a really awesome thing that I created, and I think they just write so beautifully on the pages. And so I used that for my prayer journal, and I just have a few pages left in this prayer journal and gratitude journal. And so hopefully I can share a full flip through of this if that's something you're interested in. If you like seeing prayer and gratitude journaling pages, please let me know in the comments below. And if people are interested, I'd love to share more about how, the different pages look that have been using inside of here. So, and then I also wanted to mention too, I have this little black music book holder that I use for opening the page. And so that's what you see down below. So the page that I wanted to do for today is about anxiety and the peace of the Lord. And so just thinking about being anxious and how that is, something that can be really challenging to deal with, and how instead of being anxious, I try to pray and really just give all that anxiety to God. And it ended up being a little bit tricky for me to journal on camera for that, but I am showing you kind of the finished page and just the importance of praying through anxiety. And of course, this is not, medical advice. And if you deal with anxiety, be sure to talk with your doctor or a healthcare professional. But one thing that really helps me when I'm feeling anxious is to pray and to cry out to God and ask Him to fill me with His peace. And so I used a few different printables on these pages. And this is from the Pausing for His Peace devotion book, which I'll link down below on Amazon. I used some of the printables from that, as well as my butterfly printable and some of my prayer and gratitude journal printables are the hearts. And then I also have listed here a few things that I like to do when I'm feeling anxious. So praying, reading God's word, listening to worship music, drinking tea, and I'll link a blog post below where I go into more details about these different things. So, again, comment below what is your ideal weekend? For me, going to the beach, family time, rest time, journal time, time with the Lord, yummy food, time in nature, all those things make up the perfect weekend. And I hope you will take time to do the things that bring you joy and bring you closer to the Lord as well. So be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any Creative Faith videos. Give this video a big thumbs up and I cannot wait to see you in the next Creative Faith video. Bye, friend!